Bilbao Web Fest, courtesy of WebV Guide, and I have Jason Lever here today, and we are going to talk to him about what he's up to at the moment. Jason, what have you been up to?
Well, so I've just actually come from the Marseille Web Fest, and now I'm here for Bilbao Web Fest. With Dad is making the rounds, the limited rounds, because we have a very limited budget, so we got to be very, very picky and choosy about where we submit, as I'm sure many web series creators can relate. Yeah, so I'm traveling with Natalie O'Brien, my wife, and she's also executive producer of Out with Dad. I couldn't make this show if it wasn't for her energy, her guidance, but also her, I guess you could say, like, her blessing, like, you know, to realize that there's this other part, another person in our marriage, and that is Out with Dad. You know, if we're lucky enough to be an official selection, it's like, you know, could I attend that festival? And if the answer is yes, or probably, or even perhaps, then yes, I'll choose to submit. But, you know, like I was telling Brian, the creator of the Miami Web Fest, I said, I've never submitted to that just because I didn't think it was in the foreseeable, you know, it wasn't likely I'd be able to attend. And same with the Vancouver Web Fest in my own country, which is so stupidly expensive to fly to. It was actually cheaper to fly to Bilbao than it was to Vancouver. And so I was like, I'll submit to... I like Rose. I'm going to submit. So.
No, Rose is doing a fantastic job, a really, really good job. I mean, we were really surprised. The organization is amazing. How are you finding it?
Oh yeah, likewise. This is one of the finest first edition web series festivals I've been to. What's also super cool about these festivals is that, you know, as you do attend as many as you can, which is not many, but as many as I can, I start meeting all sorts of folks. I mean, like, you know, I've known you for a little while, and I've known other folks, and you just, you know, you've got these friends around the world, and you know, I was thinking about it during the last panel, like, back when I first started making Out with Dad, it never occurred to me that I would one day be in Bilbao talking about it, and that I would have friends around the globe that are fellow creators, and that we're all supporting each other, and we all want each other to be successful. And it's like these were all thoughts that I never had. And during the last panel, the question was like, you know, why did you make it a web series? Like, why that medium? And you know, like when I did mine, I you know, it just seemed like, oh, it'll be easy, it'll be fun. I'll just do it, and I'll just get it done, and then that'll be it. I'll have told my story, on to the next thing. And yet, it's still live, it's still happening. I'm still meeting new people, and never suspected that 5 years later I'd still actually be making episodes, which we are. So
you are one of the household names now. You've certainly been around as long as I've known about the industry. Tell us about all the other productions that you're involved in.
Well, so my first foray into web series is Out with Dad, and so that's about a teenage girl coming out to her dad, although that's more the description for season 1. She's out now. Spoiler. And but I've also had the pleasure of directing episodes and scenes of Pete winning the Pirates, Clutch, which is an official selection here. What else? I got to be the cinematographer for Nadine Bell's Leslieville. Now I'm directing and shooting and editing Kate Conway is a Jerk. Hashtag Kate Conway is a Jerk. That's my lead actress's new show, and so she's just starting the festival circuit. So wishing her luck. So I mean, but then, you know, in Toronto we have like dozens of web series being made at any given time, and so at any given time I'll be lending a hand however I can, you know, because we all want each other to be successful.
If you had one piece of advice to give to a brand new web series creator, what would it be?
Well, I think it's okay. So it's a two-handed piece of advice, and this goes to story. First of all, it's got to be a story that I think a successful story tends to be one that doesn't speak to necessarily, it's not intended for a broad audience. One that speaks to a broad audience but isn't intended for one. One that's actually intended for a very, very, very narrow audience. Because I've been seeing that is a key factor in those series that really take off and are super hyper successful, and it's because they might be catering to that niche audience. And you know, and taking Out with Dad as an example, it's catering to the LGBTQ audience. And you know, back when I started it, there weren't even lesbians on TV, and now that's different now. But even still, not often the main characters, right? So Out with Dad spoke to that very small audience, but it's accessible to the mainstream. It's accessible to everyone. So I think that's the key piece. But on the flip side, don't go choosing the story that just because it's niche. It's got to be something that that you love, that you cherish, because you kind of have to be obsessed. Because if you're fortunate enough to have success, or fortunate enough to even just get it shot, then you're gonna be faced with the rest of your life is going to be that. It's going to be the last thing you think about when you go to bed. It'll be the first thing you think about when you wake up. So it's got to be something that you are super passionate about, and your friends and family around you also have to be passionate about it, because it's going to be their life too. So that's kind of my two-handed answer is, find something small but big, but also something that is that you can be obsessed with and in love with, because it's going to be your life.
Thank you very much for talking to us, and we wish you all the luck in the world for the official selection.
Thank you.